All right, we are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. It is Issues and Answers Friday, My Country with Scott Cannon. We just finished talking about an arrest finally being made in the death of Tupac Shakur and the sort of elaborate labyrinth connecting those two men and which essentially sealed their fate. Everything from the Black Panther Party to the Bloods, the Crips, baby mamas, girlfriends, wives, mentors, the record industry, just a whole lot of tragedy ultimately in that situation. But that really wasn't the only thing. That wasn't the only giant story that broke this morning. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein of California died. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California, a Democrat and champion of liberal causes, who was elected to the Senate in 1992 and broke gender barriers through her long career in local and national politics, has died. She was 90 years old. She died on Thursday night at her home in Washington, D.C., her office said on Friday. Opening the Senate floor, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced that earlier this morning we lost a giant in the Senate. Her death came after a bout of shingles sidelined her for more than 2 months earlier this year, an absence that drew frustration from her and most liberal critics and launched an unsuccessful attempt by Democrats to temporarily replace her on the Senate Judiciary Committee. When she returned to the Senate in May, she was frail and using a wheelchair, voting only occasionally. Now, she was elected, her career started when she was elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors in 1969. Wow. And became its first female board president in 1978, the year Mayor George Moscone was gunned down alongside Supervisor Harvey Milk. Feinstein actually is the one who found Harvey Milk's body. She came to prominence. She actually came to prominence in announcing that that Harvey Milk and Governor Moscone were dead. That's how most people knew who she was. Like, that's when she became a very famous political figure countrywide, is when she made that announcement about Harvey Milk. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm the biggest fan of Dianne Feinstein. I'm not whatsoever. I've talked about her very recently and how really contemptible it is that the people around her caused her to be, allowed her to be exploited the way that she was. We just talked about it a few weeks ago. We played the clip of her obviously being disoriented on the floor of Congress, and her aides are just saying, just say yes, just say yes. And she's just stammering and not knowing exactly what's going on. Just say yes, just say yes. You know, she was somebody who was the sort of definition of a corporate Democrat. You know, she was. She was a corporate Democrat. She supported a lot of she supported the war in Iraq. Just like a lot of warmongering liberals did. You know, she's somebody who, in a lot of ways, supported the surveillance state that I talk about a lot on this show as well. You know, she gave carte blanche to the NSA, the CIA, all these people to violate our civil rights and lie to us. She was the leader of the Senate Intelligence Committee. And then she pretended to be shocked when the CIA was spying on her too. She found out the CIA was spying on her as well, and she was not a big fan of that. You know, she's somebody else who enriched herself a lot while she was in Congress. You know, she did. She supported the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act. Which really destroyed our civil liberties in this country after 9/11. I mean, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I think that she was this sort of noble figure, but I think she serves as a lesson to show you just how far gone I believe the Democratic Party is. You want to know why I vote third party? People like Dianne Feinstein is why I vote third party. Why was she kept in office as long as she was, in spite of the fact that everyone knew that she was not mentally fit? Because if she stepped down, California has a Democratic governor. He would just put another Democrat in her place. So it's not like her stepping down would give anything to the Republicans. But the reason she was kept in office and exploited by the Democratic Party and the people around her was because God forbid, Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of California, God forbid, he named an actual left-wing Democrat or close to a left-wing Democrat, or progressive, should I say, a progressive Democrat, like Barbara Lee, who we just paid tribute to during the 9/11 show some weeks ago, because she was the lone voice against George W. Bush, giving George W. Bush unilateral ability to start a war in the days after 9/11. Barbara Lee alone stopped, well, she didn't stop it, but she voted against it. And now, obviously, she looks like a genius because everybody else has seen what George W. Bush spent the rest of his presidency doing with those war powers. That's who the Democratic Party was fighting to keep out of the Senate. They wanted somebody who was more malleable to the military-industrial complex, a war hawk, a corporatist like Adam Schiff. That's who they wanted. But Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has said he wanted to put a black woman in Feinstein's place if she had to step down. And so because of that, they kept that woman in office long after she was physically fit to be in office. And that is contemptible. That is out and out contemptible. You are so afraid of somebody who just won't be a warmongering corporatist getting the seat, that you will keep this woman who is obviously mentally unfit to perform her duties in office. That's who the Democratic Party is now. That's who they are. And it's the same thing with Joe Biden. They gaslit us about Dianne Feinstein too. They told us Dianne Feinstein was completely fine. Just a few months ago they were saying she was completely fine. Oh, she's fine. Well, she's fine. Nothing wrong with Dianne Feinstein. I just saw her dunk a few hours ago. What do you mean? I saw her doing the Charleston yesterday. You know, what do you mean there's something wrong with her? And then they tried to use the sexism card. Remember that? If you said that Dianne Feinstein was too old and needed to step down, they said, oh, I bet if she was a man, you wouldn't be saying that. And that is modern liberalism in a nutshell right there. When all else fails, accuse somebody of being a racist and or a sexist or a homophobe. When you have no argument whatsoever, just accuse somebody of what, just look, okay, are they black? Okay, then they're racist. Okay, are they a woman? Okay, then they're sexist. Are they gay? Okay, then they're homophobic. Never even trying to address the criticism head on, just calling people sexist. And now they let this woman die in office. Absolutely contemptible. Absolutely contemptible. The only good thing that may come from this, hopefully Gavin Newsom keeps his word, names a black woman, namely Barbara Lee, one of the very few members of Congress I have any respect for whatsoever. One of the few decent people in Congress. Hopefully she gets her opportunity to be in office and do what well, at least do something. The Democrats aren't going to let her do anything real that will change anybody's lives, but at least she can, she can at least be on, have an accomplishment of having been a senator for a while. All right, folks, when we get back, happy.